Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. Got a topic we're going to talk about today that might be a little touchy to a few people. Might be a little touchy to a few people, but we're definitely going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about it in its entirety. We're going to talk about it and talk about it in its entirety. It is now 7:31, and you are in the morning glow. Good morning. I want to say good morning, Cash Blue. Good morning, ID. Glad to have you all. Good morning, AJ. Good morning, AJ. Glad to have you with us this morning. We got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, and the phone lines will be open. Actually, the phone lines are open already. So if you want to call in and be a part of the conversation, very simple. All you have to do is dial 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to hear from you. Um, I was speaking yesterday. Yesterday. To this young lady. I say young lady, but she's of a certain. I think she was about 67, 67, 68, something like that. I say young lady. You know how I do. Good morning, funny. Good morning. Good to have you this morning. And we was talking about how young people don't always do the things that they're supposed to do in regards to obtaining stuff that they're supposed to have. They expect certain things. Um, and a better question, man. Good morning, Harley. Good morning, Harley. Do these young people today? And then I'm gonna start the question off like this. I was gonna go in another direction, but this right here came to me. Do you think young people today? Do you think they feel entitled? Do you think they feel entitled? Captain Leonard. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Then I'm talking about, man. I was speaking to this young lady. She was like 67, 68 years old.
Hmm.
I say young lady. Um, and she was talking about how the young folks don't go out there and do the things they're supposed to do to obtain the stuff that they're supposed to have. And she's in a nutshell. I was going another direction, but it just turned on me. And I asked the question: do you think a lot of these young folks today? Do you think do they feel entitled, man? Like society, people, the world, pretty much owe them something. What do you say to that, Leonard?
I don't know about if they know that the world owes them something, but I do believe that there is some sense that above and beyond parents,
Mm, mm,
that there is a misconception of fairness.
that's good, Leonard. You stay right there, brother. Explain that to me.
Um, I often comment on certain situations that you all speak about here when we're talking on the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you actually believe for some reason that someone is here for to make sure that you have everything you want,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
that everyone's supposed to do things in your best interest.
Yes.
That's a more of a mixture of a lot of selfishness and entitlement. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I think of entitlement means that there should be something uh, um, due you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say, for instance, people believe that they should get respect before they respect people.
Wow. Yeah.
That could
Yeah.
be part of entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
Or there are some people who believe that everyone else should get out of their way.
Mm-hmm.
Either way it goes, I think that there's an issue with it because you're only really it should feel entitled to things that belong to you, that you
Mm-hmm.
believe that belong to you.
That
Like,
you
say,
earn.
for exactly, pretty much. And it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to say that you earn. Maybe you're the king and I'm
Mm-hmm.
your son. So
Mm-hmm.
because you're the king, I'm entitled to be the prince and the king one day.
Wow. Okay.
Entitlement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
regardless of effort or anything or work for that matter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm entitled to be king because you're my father and you're king.
Mm.
Some
That's true.
people have that. No, that's entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
but you have to have something first.
Mm-hmm.
There's some reason you just can't be here and just, my parents they didn't do nothing for me, blah 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 blah. I don't believe that people have entitlement then,
Mm-hmm.
but entitlement are those people who believe that they're owed something based on who they are.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So
Wow.
racism is a lot like that within our culture.
Mm-hmm. On which side?
On the black side of racism,
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
you believe that you are entitled to certain things because
Mm-hmm.
you have been titled with being black.
Mm-hmm.
And what has happened historically to black people, that could be entitlement as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're raising children to believe that they're owed something
Mm-hmm.
more just because they're black,
Now
that could be an entitlement.
let me throw this in the conversation. And the phone lines are open, man. This is real good. The phone lines are open. Give us a call at 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Reparations. Is that a form of entitlement that we
Yes.
black folks feel as though, wow, you know,
Well,
you
see,
gotta
I mean, you look at entitlement as negative.
Leonard, there's some kind of a feedback coming from your line when you talk, brother. I don't know if you need to turn it down just a little bit, or I don't know. There's a feedback coming back when you talk. Okay, let's do it now. But yeah, go ahead, explain that to me.
If you look at entitlement as a negative word,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the way many people use it,
Yes.
it's not a negative word.
Mm.
You have an entitlement to reparations
Mm-hmm.
because of the historic treatment of the descendants of slaves and slaves in
Mm-hmm.
America. You're
Mm-hmm.
entitled to that. The title of being black and a descendant of a slave is what makes
Mm-hmm.
you entitled to that.
So it's owed to us.
Yes.
Okay.
That's but see if you only look at entitlement
Mm-hmm.
as a negative word, you
It's
fail.
good. It's good.
You
It's good.
you fail. There are
Mm-hmm.
things that you are definitely entitled to,
Mm-hmm.
but
Now,
if
Leonard, you
that's
know,
misplaced, that could be a problem.
Now, Leonard, you know, there's probably quite a few people out there that's listening to you right now that do not agree with what you just said in regards to black folks being entitled or owed something in regards to reparations. I
Five
wish.
zero eight nine two four
There
three
you
five
go.
two one.
There you go. Say it again, Leonard.
508-925-3521.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
Excuse me,
508.
508-924-3521.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. And give us a
Because there are
call.
certain things you have a right to.
Mm-hmm. But some folks will say that what do you say to the people? I ain't gonna say some folks will say, but what do you say to the people, Leonard, that say, well, look, y'all talking about y'all need reparations, man? That was over 400, 500 years ago.
It's
Why
not
in the world?
about needing it. It's about what
Mm-hmm.
you owe.
Mm-hmm.
Reparations is what you owe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. That's good, man. This is so good, man. Some people will say, well, why do you think we owe you something, man? I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it. You know,
Doesn't
that
have
was.
anything to do with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Come on.
entitled to it because I am the descendant of a slave, and what those people, your ancestors, did to my ancestors is the reason why I'm entitled to reparations.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Doesn't matter
Okay.
about how it has nothing to do with how you feel or what have you. The facts are there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. The descendants of slaves are entitled to reparations.
Okay. Why are black people of color, if you will, the only ones that have not gotten any reparations to this day for the bill
because
that was owed to them?
because you still allow the people that oppressed you to be in power.
Mm.
See, the South and all those sympathetic to the South should have been disintegrated.
Mm.
This is what Reconstruction was about.
Mm-hmm.
But when you allowed for them to continue to use all of the racist tactics that they wanted to, you allowed Jim Crow to exist and all these other things. That's why reparations are owed to the descendants of slaves.
Mm-hmm.
This is no thing where your opinion even matters.
Mm-hmm. Has
If
something.
other people are entitled to reparations for
Mm-hmm.
their treatment, why wouldn't Black Americans, the descendants of slaves, be entitled to reparations?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you were a white racist.
Wow. So that would be the only one that you would think of that would think that reparations is not needed. The white racist.
And house Negroes.
Wow. Wow. That's good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. And this is a conversation, and these type of conversation that we have here on the Morning Glow are conversation that sometimes people are not comfortable. Sometimes people just aren't comfortable with having these particular conversations, but I think they really need to be had. Good morning, Brother Raheem. You and the family have an awesome day. Love you all. That's Dr. Cook. She's
Good
saying good
morning.
morning. Yeah, she's saying good morning to everybody. Dr. Cook, you get this opportunity to give us a call. We love to hear from you as well. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Now, Leonard, there are some people out there that will say, well, God bless the child who has his own. Don't worry about no reparations. Go out there and make your own stuff. Get your own stuff. God bless the child who has his own. What do you say to that person?
Do you worship Billie Holiday? What's the deal with that? That's what Billie Holiday said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She
Mm-hmm.
said, God bless the child that has his own.
Absolutely.
She was just a singer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people say that because, yeah, we want God bless the child that has his own. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
good. That's a good sentiment.
Mm-hmm. But
Great
what?
song. But it ain't got nothing to do with a lot of things that's going on
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to, what we talking about. That type
Mm-hmm.
of thinking is after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go back and look at what the damage that was done. You
Mm-hmm.
don't if you hadn't done no damage, there would be no need for reparations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's good.
this notion that, one thing about reparations is you shouldn't be waiting on it in order to do what it is you need to do
Mm-hmm.
because they're
Mm-hmm.
not in effect. You can't say the check is in the mail
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
anything of that nature.
I'm gonna pay you
So
when I
you
get
still
back.
have to do what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that have been very successful. But even successful black people with millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars are due reparations.
Mm-hmm.
They're entitled to reparations
Mm-hmm.
because many of them are the descendants of slaves.
Okay. So and I'm playing both sides here. I like to deal with both sides of the coin. So are you saying that merely because they are descendant of slaves, or is it because something that they are really owed because of whatever the reason?
The entitlement comes
Mm-hmm.
because of you being a descendant of a slave.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the reparations, the whole program is about,
Mm-hmm.
to address what slavery did to those Africans and their
Mm-hmm.
descendants.
Mm-hmm.
And it has and is and one there is really two conversations that should be merged in together because they're the
Mm-hmm.
descendants of slaves are one community, but then there's still a debt owed due to Jim Crow as well. So
Mm-hmm.
every racist program created that had racism in it, that's why reparations is due.
Mm-hmm. Let me go to Tucson. Good morning, Tucson. How you doing this morning? It's good.
Yay!
Tell everybody where you're hailing from, brother.
Buck Tussle, Arkansas.
Yeah, what he meant to say was Mississippi is where he's really from. But Tucson, we're talking about reparations, man. We're talking about reparations. Do you think reparations is needed, deserved, or do you think is old? Do you think reparations is old?
Mm. Oh boy. there's too many obstacles, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them look like me
Mm.
for it to be ever uh, received or gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Leonard said something. There's two kinds of people are in the way of that being done.
Mm-hmm.
The oppressor and them there house Negro mentality folks.
Mm-hmm.
Them there Negroes is dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Why you say they're
Them
dangerous? Why do you say that they're dangerous?
they'll get you killed. Let me tell you
Mm.
what. Let me tell you about a scared person.
Mm-hmm.
They'll either kill you or get you killed.
Yes, sir.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't want them in the trench hole, in the trenches with you.
Yeah.
It's called friendly fire.
Mm-hmm. You gonna kill them?
And we have, they'll kill you.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay.
You might, you might, they'll call you buddy. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. I hate for somebody. You ever had eerie feeling when somebody tap you on the shoulder or tap you on the back?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that
Exactly.
because I know there's a dagger behind that.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world you think who sold the first slave? Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Sold his brother and his cousin and his people that look like him.
Mm.
I'm just saying, I'm not no historian or nothing, but I have a degree in Negroology.
Negroology is what a subject. What a subject, brother. I wonder what school they teach that one in. But Captain Leonard, what do you say to that,
It's
man?
everyday life.
Yes, sir.
It's every day.
Yes.
You choose, go to the hood, you'll find out.
Say, look at you. You ain't got to fill out no application form or none of that stuff.
Mm, no. They graduate from college and they flunk kindergarten.
Good Lord.
They got doctor's degree and they in the insane asylum.
Mm.
They got bipolar and there's dyslexia.
Mm. Look, he said they graduated from
Yeah.
college and flunked kindergarten. Captain Leonard, what do you say to that, man? He said a scared Negro will kill you or have you or get you killed.
Yeah. All you gotta do is threaten them. All they gotta do is feel threatened in any way.
Mm-hmm.
All you
Mm.
gotta do, they talk one game and do another.
Mm.
Just to whatever it is they scared of, that's what has control of them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not, they tell on you. That was one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that was one of the characteristics of one. They are for what we call the company. They for the
Mm-hmm.
house.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Boss,
They're
we sick. We sick, boss.
making sure they all right
Mm-hmm.
is their top priority. Making sure they comfortable is their priority.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That's why we refer to them as such, because it's the belief that they okay because they in the house.
Mm-hmm. Leonard, let's have an educational moment real quick. Um, Explain to the people, and I know you know the true story of Uncle Tom.
Well, Uncle Tom was really
I'm gonna grab a water.
fighting against the degradation of definitely black women. But what he was always trying to do, is alleviate uh, suffering or punishment. It's been a while since I actually read to know more of the details
Mm-hmm.
of the story, because I read it so long ago. But it
Was
really
was
was about an individual who was really trying to alleviate this additional suffering
Mm-hmm.
of black people, especially women
Mm-hmm.
and children and things of that nature. Well, he was one of those types of people, I believe, that would try to smooth things over
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to
But
make things better.
and a lot of time people say, "Oh, you old Uncle Tom." So they use it as like a put down or something like that, like
Hmm.
he was a coward or something like that. But Uncle Tom was not a coward at all.
Well, if you read the book from a white person's perspective, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
See, if you
That's
can't even read without being biased with racism, you sometimes you miss the meaning and
mm-hmm.
things like that, and the real theme of a story.
Mm-hmm.
True enough, it happened during slavery, but there's a greater meaning in the
Mm-hmm.
story, I do believe. Like I said, it's been
Ex-
such a while. I read it as a child.
mm-hmm.
So, there's one thing to go along with those things that are anti our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another thing to try to preserve humanity,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot about what Uncle Tom was doing, is because he did believe that one day that would be things would be different.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe he was more about trying to alleviate, whippings and beatings and not participating in those things. Slavery was exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
just didn't wake up and just say, "Hey, ain't no more slavery today. I'm gonna think positive."
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That wasn't the issue. So you have to look at it in context,
Mm-hmm.
and people use it today just because they want to use it and because of the image, because we know they ain't read nothing.
Yeah. Come on.
It is the image
mm-hmm.
combined with those reinforcements by the media of what Uncle Tom represented, which is what changed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there
Exactly.
are some people believe that everything should be a war, everything should be fighting, everything should be bloodshed.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the only way you can help certain things. You may try to do a little at a time. Do
Mm-hmm.
something today, do something tomorrow, do something different the next day. But it all is contributing to alleviating the suffering, I think is what Uncle Tom was more so about.
And that goes back into the old saying where people say, "How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a
He took
time."
time. Right.
Yeah.
But
One.
we people talk a lot of times just, to satisfy their own self. So there
Mm-hmm.
are some people that lie to your face, and if you believe it, they okay.
Yeah.
But soon you say, here's some fact,
Mm-hmm.
they get an attitude,
Yeah. Because you're going against the
you know.
narrative.
But you if you enjoy that narrative,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, that's on you. That's your
Exactly.
thought process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So talk to me, brother. Uncle Tom.
We named the wrong person,
Mm-hmm.
but I know a bunch of them that we refer to as one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we got it wrong
Yeah.
because he probably was one of the persons that you want in your corner.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
He will be the one you will want in that bunker with you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
Um, but you,
Come on. Come on, Tucson. Come on, man. This the glow. This the morning glow.
some people of African descent. Do you say it right? I wouldn't. I wouldn't pee on them if they was on fire.
Mm. Mm. Wow. Are they that
I
bad,
can't
man?
stand.
Are they
You
that
know.
bad?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They'll bring your wife to the master to be raped.
Mm.
They'll send you to the field
Mm.
to get you out the way.
So where's the unity?
Ain't none. No, sir. No. No. Matter of fact. Matter of fact. They'll they'll call you one of them if you're trying to achieve. Oh, you one of them.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean? I had to tell a guy at work. I said, "You got one more time.
Mm-hmm.
You got one more time. They'll make you lose your job.
Wow.
Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
they will they will undermine you when you see that there's some people that some of us that let's go to the workforce, and some of us we don't take no junk from nobody. We don't let nobody talk to us crazy. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it. I don't care who you are. Period. You're not gonna talk to me crazy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Period. But at the same time, see, I have a tendency to learn how to do my job over somebody else's shoulder that you're trying to teach instead of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I work. I
Mm-hmm.
watch you show somebody else what you don't want me to know because you don't want me to get where you see that I have the capabilities to get. I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah. 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 You did. You
So
did.
I'll sit back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll sit back from a distance, and I've been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit back and I'll watch, and I'll every once in a while I say, I can show you how to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and you will overlook me, and then buddy will come around and see he'll be, yeah, man, I can do, and always in his face. Every time you turn around, they behind closed doors talking, running
Mm-hmm.
their mouth,
Yeah.
talking about how good they are, but they're sorry on the job too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Butt kissers,
Yes, sir.
brown noses,
Mm-hmm. Go to kick the boss.
Benedict Arnold.
Go to kick the boss in the behind and tear the back of their head up, huh?
Oh, yeah, yeah, the boss. And they be, I'm just playing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why you play them folks like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They call you Bubba. It
Mm.
make me sick to
Hey,
my stomach.
Leonard.
Now I
We
don't
might have stirred.
mean
We might have
you
stirred
gonna
some more
make
with
me
Tucson
mad
this morning. Go
today.
ahead, brother. Go ahead, Tucson.
You gonna make me mad this morning. You gonna make me mad this morning because I see them every day.
Mm-hmm.
They got one of them that was in the White House, and he was uh, uh, over housing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't want to call his
Yeah. I
name,
know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Leonard smile.
but
Well, he know too.
I mean, and I hate the point, but I'm not saying I don't know the guy, but anytime that you have the opportunity to be placed in a position and you don't help the people that you're supposed to in that position, you just uh like somebody said, they ain't got. They say that the United States is racist. The United States ain't racist.
Mm.
I'd be like, Negro, please.
Exactly.
Is you stupid? Just because you have what you call arrived, you think you something,
Mm-hmm.
and you getting ready for the okey doke.
You're good
I'm
about.
talking about when you say, I don't know, my 3 minutes is up. You made me mad, Raheem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Exactly.
saying what I do is people like that, I keep distance from them, and I watch them being taught to be a butt kisser. And I stand and I say, "Don't you talk to me like that. I don't care who you are. I put my pants on just like you."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we gonna roll. And
Exactly.
when the right opportunity comes, I get what I deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So anyway, go ahead, man. What you
No, no,
talking about? Let's talk about something else.
no. You on a roll this morning, brother. Hey, we ain't gonna stop you. You on a roll, brother. we look normally we don't get that long of a conversation out of him on a subject like that. He wide open this morning. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Phone lines are open. The phone lines are open. Captain Leonard, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
You know, there's people that have a lot of different issues, and they fail to look at the big picture. Like one,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell you have some people that have conversations with complete disregard to another person's opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and when you talking to them, you be wondering, okay, you just listen,
Mm-hmm.
and you make a lot of judgments about them. If it's always me, I,
Mm-hmm.
you know what type of person you're dealing with.
Yeah.
What I think we lose sight of, like say for instance, with that question you asked about the Uncle Tom thing. Know the story.
Mm-hmm.
How do you have an opinion and don't know the story?
Yes.
We've changed the definition of it for our own narrative, which put Uncle Tom in a completely different light.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
see, then this is the game that people play. Uncle Tom's Cabin was an anti-slavery novel
Mm-hmm.
because it's exposed the inhumanity of slavery, and it gave you a lot of perspectives on what slavery was about. Because you have to remember, you had the North and you had the South. This was prior to the Civil War, I think, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was prior to the war because supposedly once exposed, this why this book is such a historic what do you call it, classic. It's because it's part of that history I was telling you about that makes reparations definitely an entitlement to the descendant of
Mm-hmm.
slaves. Simply, if you read that book, you know why reparations was necessary. So, when you look at the book was written to expose the inhumanity of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
But what people have taken out of context is the character Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom, that character was a certain way because of who his slave master was.
Yes.
His
Yes.
his
There you go.
slave master that had more of a consideration for him, but still was going to sell it and his
Mm-hmm.
family. Slavery still was the institution that you didn't want to be in. So slaves often escaped this
Mm-hmm.
institution. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what it takes all of that story to show you something ain't right here.
Yeah.
The very same people against reparation asking, would it be okay if you was a slave?
Mm.
Well, no. Then what is your problem? What
Mm-hmm.
sentiments do you have for the oppression of black people? That's why we
Mm-hmm.
can't stand that Confederate flag
Come on.
because we know the sympathy that lies within the symbolism and meaning of that flag.
Mm-hmm.
You supported the side that supported slavery.
Mm-hmm.
You insisted on it. As a matter of fact, you wanted to expand slavery further west.
Mm-hmm. If a team loses the Super Bowl, who people gonna celebrate? The winner or the loser? Most of the time, most of the time, I see people celebrating the winner.
Like I said, a winner is a winner and a loser is a loser.
Mm-hmm.
You lost the Super Bowl. That's the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
You can celebrate. You can celebrate going there. You can
Mm-hmm.
celebrate the money made. You can celebrate even the opposite team's win for playing a great game.
Mm-hmm.
That don't change the fact that you was there and you were a part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people talk about getting there.
Mm-hmm.
To win is the icing on the cake.
Yes, sir.
But just to get there and play in the Super Bowl is a big deal
Mm-hmm.
because of what has been overcome. So you get the guys after they win about the hard work they put in,
Yeah.
the desire, the hope, the what do you call it? The discipline that
Mm-hmm.
was necessary for them to get to where they had to get to. They had to beat other teams trying to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that's a need for celebration itself, even if you didn't win. But
Mm-hmm.
do understand there's a winner and there's a loser, and because it's a game.
Yep.
You
Somebody
knew it.
got to
You knew
win.
it going in. You knew it going into the
It's
deal.
got to lose.
Right. That's part of that game.
Mhm.
But
Exactly.
then again, here you go singing one of your favorite little off-key songs.
And that's like excuse me. Back in the days when Wide World of Sports used to come on, the thrill of victory and the agony of
Agony of
defeat.
defeat. Right.
Yes.
And I listen. If you just listen to the game instead
Mm-hmm.
of watching the game, man, I
Mm-hmm.
love the voices that go with the game.
Yes,
Those
sir.
guys with those voices that you
Mm-hmm.
be like, they really love what they talking about.
Down goes Frazier. Down
Exactly.
goes Frazier.
There's some people like when you get used to hearing them,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they die, you be like, oh man, that's what you had gotten so used to
Yeah.
that voice. It
Because
went
Howard
with it
Cosell.
complemented the game.
Howard Cosell had that voice. And I'm here to tell
Right.
you, Howard Cosell.
And he's famous just for talking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly.
You
Exactly.
know? So, a lot of people have criticisms of all types of things.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll use it, they'll change the meaning of words and everything else. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you
Exactly.
talk to somebody that really understands the English language or whatever, you question them, then they got a nerve to
Mm-hmm.
get an attitude.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, there you go. Thinking better than us again. Look at it.
Yeah, you know how y'all do.
Think he better than us. Look at that. He better than us. Look at he know the English language. Look at that. We got
You know how y'all do.
we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Morning, Gold family. This Kurt, man. What's
Good
going on?
morning, Kurt.
What's going on, man? How you doing this morning?
What's poppin', man? What's poppin'?
Hey,
Body sore as ever, but it's gonna be all right.
there you go. Hey, how the rehearsals going, man?
Body sore is gonna get out, but it's gonna be all right, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Kurt, I need some education this morning, brother. And we say 3 minutes. We're gonna give you at least up to 5 minutes to clarify this thing for us, man. And was Uncle Tom a coward? Was Uncle Tom what people when people say you Uncle Tom, do they know exactly what they're calling you and who Uncle Tom was?
No, they have no idea, and I have not had the chance to read the book in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned over the last probably 10 years the symbolism in the book, and we've been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We've been wrong. Um, it reminds me of a play called Pearly, when there's a character in the play that's called Get Low, and according to our verbiage, we would think Get Low to be an Uncle Tom,
Mm-hmm.
and which is true according to Uncle Tom's Cavern. He was an Uncle Tom, but the Uncle Tom is working for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy. But I was listening to you all talk, right? And what kept coming to my mind is an old American saying. I think it's American. The spoils of war always go to the victor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the case of the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation, the spoils of war went to the loser. And here's the hypocrisy that we hear all the time, which is complete hypocrisy. When you hear folks say the North wanted to come and take away our living,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to stop our living. But the truth is at the end of the Civil War, if I'm not mistaken, Leonard would probably know better than I. As the Reconstruction was written and carried out, they were paid reparations. The slave owners were paid for not having slaves anymore.
Mm.
So they received a form of reparations. And the larger hypocrisy is this, and I'll just end it with this. The larger hypocrisy is the fact that every culture in this country that has been exploited, dehumanized, humiliated, has received some form of reparations except for the African American population.
Mm-hmm.
If you really do the homework, when we was in South Carolina, Raheem, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember there was a big hoopla because they was giving $13,000 to immigrants. No
Yeah.
disrespect
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
They hard workers just like we are.
Mm-hmm.
But they was giving $13,000 grants to immigrants so that they could go to Pulliam Ford and buy
But
F-150s. You
yep.
remember that, right?
Buy them new trucks. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if you're giving a grant to an immigrant to buy this truck in hopes that the immigrant will either do a building and renovations job, a home improvement job, a farming job, is that not a form of reparations?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that you took 95% of this land from those very same immigrants?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying, I could be wrong. Most of the time I am. But I'm just saying, the hypocrisy of the ignorant Caucasian American is so obvious, and the idiosyncrasies and the idiotic, I can't even call it ignorance because ignorance is to not know, but the self-perpetuated ignorance
Mm-hmm.
of what is really going on, what has really gone on, and what will be going on if you all don't step up and say, look, enough is enough. We have
Mm-hmm.
exploited our people enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is so obvious that, like, it's to become blatant. Like, and I think that's how people feel. Like, you're blatantly attempting to exploit me. You're
Mm-hmm.
blatantly attempting to cause harm to my family. You're blatantly attempting to cause harm to my communities. But I don't know. That's just me, man. That's from somebody who rides short bus.
Go ahead with that, man. Tucson, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
You know, man, the bad thing about it is that I don't know. I talk from where I am or what I know.
Mm-hmm.
I try to at least. I'm not too bright, but I'm not stupid.
Come on.
But when I think about the trick that has been inflicted on the um spirituality, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to say this, of the us of us.
Mm-hmm.
It is also part of the issue because it kind of made an attempt to 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 keep us bonded in bondage
Mm-hmm.
by making certain emphasis on certain things to give you a mindset to never be free.
Mm. Tucson, let me ask you this question, and we got another caller. I want to go to that caller. Here in America, on the soils of America, would a black man here in America really truly know what freedom looks like in all aspects of
It's
it?
up to him. It's up to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's up to that individual.
Mm-hmm.
And if you counting on some other, can I say what I want to say?
Say it, brother. Say it.
If you counting on some other black Negro to come along with you,
Mm-hmm.
You sadly mistaken. You ain't gonna find a crowd. I
Mm-hmm.
bet you that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Wow.
some remain, or they find another way to enslave themselves with a mindset. It starts with the mind. And if you
Mm-hmm.
get a person's mind, why are we fighting each other? Why are we fighting
Mm-hmm.
each other? What are we
Mm-hmm.
fighting each other for?
Mm-hmm.
What are you what are you talking about? You in my hood.
Yeah,
What hood you got?
exactly. Mm-hmm. What part of that dirt you on?
Yeah. I mean you fighting over drugs and stuff that here's a person that is somebody's mother, daughter, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, uncle, and you see them looking well one day,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months down the line, they don't have no teeth in their mouth, and you
Mm-hmm.
happy, and you talking about you the man.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Wow. Wow. Brother Pete, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing good, my brother. DKM radio panelist and all that. How you doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Got another caller. Caller, we coming to you next. Be on standby for us. But Pete, I want you to tackle that question, man. Do you think here in America, with everything that's going on and has been going on for years, forever, if you will, do you think a black man would really truly understand what freedom looks like here in America, with all elements of it?
I think that's a relative question, depending on that particular individual,
Mm-hmm.
their perception, their social status, their position, how they perceive freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think that if you're financially stable and able, you have some notoriety, you have a strong network, a well-plugged network, you can enjoy most or all of the benefits of this society.
Mm-hmm.
If you on the other side, far end spectrum, might
Mm-hmm.
not perceive or be able to fully conceive freedom. And when I say it's relative, I think about Sada Shakur, Joanne Chesimard, who said she's in Cuba now with a $2 million bounty on her head still. She says she's never been free.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean when I say it's relative.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you define freedom?
Yeah.
Well, depending on how you define your freedom, many of us would say, I'm free and nothing hinders me and blah, blah, blah. Well, I beg to differ.
Mm-hmm.
I measure
Exactly.
freedom in different degrees and different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very clear about the public side of the function of this society and the private side of the function of this society. And many of us who think we have privileges or freedoms, we have afforded privileges, and those privileges can be recanted
Mm-hmm.
at any moment.
Mm. So we're never. So even to this day, from what you just said, we're not truly free.
It factually, it's a different answer.
Mm-hmm.
In your own perception, you may be, but again, depending on how you live your life and what you do, and the questions that you ask, you may enjoy what you think is a semblance of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, privately, I qualify for you, depending on again your situation where you're
Mm.
not free at all, and you might not even be aware.
Wow. Wow. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning? And we gonna continue this. Don't go to more people. I want to continue that line of conversation with you. But Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, doing well, doing well. What do you say today, Cassandra? Do you think here in America, with all the elements and everything that's going on, do you think a black man or woman would ever truly be free, know what freedom looks like in all of its elements. Before you answer, somebody asking for the number. It's 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Phone lines are open. Cassandra, what do you say to that?
Okay, I'm going to try to put this really quickly in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about the spiritual aspect, then we are free because the Word of God says that whom the Son has set free is free indeed. That means no matter what's going on, your spirit man is free because even if you're like when Paul was in prison, he was free. You understand? He
Mm-hmm.
came to the realization that he was free. So in that aspect, yes. But when you're talking about in the United States and what we have going on right now,
Mm-hmm.
we are regressing into
Mm-hmm.
a time where we're not free. Because if you do not have the right to vote,
Mm-hmm.
your freedoms are being limited.
Yeah.
I'm saying limited. They may not be eliminating them, but when you do not have, there shouldn't even be a question about voting in America,
Yes.
period, in
Absolutely.
2021. And
Absolutely.
here we are with all these different states taking back privileges
Mm-hmm.
by limiting different things, that's putting us back in bondage. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want black people, if we do not think that we are in trouble in this country when it comes to voting, because if they redistrict and they take the voting in different areas around the country away from people, making it harder for older people to get in, making it all these restrictions with IDs and all this extra stuff that they're doing. It's extra.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing too much. It's extra. And it's
Mm-hmm.
all politically motivated. Then we are not free.
Wow. Wow. Leonard, talk to me, brother. What do you say to that? 'Cause that's powerful, man. You muted, Leonard.
I definitely agree with Miss Cassandra. We talked about it before. However, I don't have no feelings about it outside of outside of certain context. I am
Mm-hmm.
very free. I will kill you about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use just as much force as you're going to use against me
Mm-hmm.
if you try to end my freedom. Long as you don't get in the way of what I'm trying to do, I'm usually fine. That's completely different than my ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
My ancestor couldn't come and go as they pleased. They couldn't mate with who they wanted to mate with. They had to do what someone else said. They were treated as cattle or what. That's not me. I can't assume that
Mm-hmm.
because it's just not factual for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are some people who may have been slaves before that are still around. They're from other
Mm.
countries
Yeah. Yeah.
and everything. Slavery is still going on,
Yes, it is.
but all I know is you didn't get to pick who your master was.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get to point and assume somebody to be your master. It was very clear who your master was.
Mm-hmm.
He was entitled to you.
Mm-hmm.
His name is on his property and everything else. So I have never had a romantic relationship with slavery
Mm.
or anything like that at all. Matter of fact, if you mention it to me or you try to make some type of joke about it,
Mm-hmm.
I will let you know who would actually be on top of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I would dare you to do it because I know what I would do to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you say, okay, so only black people feel like that?
Mm.
What is your comment on
Mm.
that? White folks can place themselves in slavery as well.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But what
sir.
they don't have is they don't have the historical relationship to what my ancestors suffered. So I would not take something so subjective, give it to
Mm-hmm.
white folks, and then give them a reason or a cause to believe that they would be oppressed, like the LGBT community. Let's
Mm-hmm.
use that for an example. You're pretending.
Mm.
You're pretending. to be oppressed. That's not cool.
Mm-hmm.
One of my little mottos I have on most things is I laugh, I joke, and I have fun, but I do not play.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is completely not just insensitive, but it is selfish as hell to do that.
Mm-hmm. Hey!
And that's
Mm-hmm.
just what it is. You
Now,
sitting here
when you
pretending to be
see,
a slave?
okay, go ahead. You about to go exactly what I was about to ask you. Go ahead.
Where did that become cool?
Mm-hmm.
Pretending that you're in bondage and that you can't do what you want to do. That sounds like something is mentally wrong with you.
Mm.
Because one, if the door open, it's not anyone else's fault if the cage is open and you sitting there in the cage.
Mm-hmm.
But like you say, that trap is set for people who want to play that game. I don't play games this way. I never will. That's like blasphemy against the Holy Ghost.
So when you say that they're playing with it and they're making pretty much making mockery of it,
Basically.
how give me an example of what it is, because we may have somebody out there that's on the coast, got the phone in the hand and ready to call in. So and I'm gonna give them the number 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Give me an example. And what exactly are we speaking of here?
We're talking about people who choose certain situations and get themselves in a certain situation, but then
Mm-hmm.
blame it on something else.
Okay.
You know, you like one, I committed this crime because my father wasn't in my life. That makes absolutely no sense.
Mm-hmm.
You committed that crime because of a desire that you had. Had
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with your father, but
Mm-hmm.
it has become popular and the narrative to do that, which is the reason why you have people that don't want to take responsibility for the things that they have done. Despite slavery and everything else, you still have to go before another judge.
Mm-hmm.
What is that judge going to say when you come and say, "Well, I'm the descendant of a slave"?
Mm.
At judgment,
Mm-hmm. Come on.
is that going to matter?
No. No.
People have to put it into a perspective. If you want to be a slave, I understand that. There are people that will pay you money to tie them up, to beat them, and rape them if that's what you would like. Because for some reason in their sick mind, they enjoy this
Mm-hmm.
sadomasochistic behavior. That's what that is. To hurt yourself, to enslave yourself over and over and over and over and over, to constantly go back to jail over and over and over and over. That's not racism. That's
Mm-hmm.
behavior.
Mm-hmm.
The hypocrisy of the matter with white folks is the very simple fact that, as you mentioned in that story before, I'm a good, upstanding Christian and I just love them, but you still own slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how passionate you can talk all that crap. You're a good church member, you're this, that, and the other, but you're a slave owner.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you
Mm-hmm.
hated slavery and all these other things, you wouldn't participate,
Exactly.
regardless of the fact that it was legal or not. You wouldn't have participated.
Mm-hmm.
See, you chose to participate in slavery by purchasing slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And see, this whole relationship that we have and that we develop to make ourselves feel better may not always be the best medicine. If you're comfortable with the fact and saying the reason why I didn't get a chance to do what I wanted to do in life is because of slavery, something is wrong with you.
Mm. But we spoke earlier, and I'm gonna go to a couple other people. We spoke earlier about the reparations, and you said reparations is old, and deserved.
Yes.
How and see that takes me down a whole different alley. If that be the case, if it's old and deserved, and we deserve reparations because of what our ancestors has gone through, are we to wait, or are we to naturally we don't want to just sit down and wait on somebody to write a check for us. That's not what we're going to do.
Well,
And
I don't know what you all think reparations may be, but that's exactly what it is.
For somebody to
That's all reparations is.
write a check for you.
And basically, it's a payment. It's to
Mm-hmm.
repair the damage.
But my point was, I don't think that it would be a wise idea for anybody to just wait and I'm going to wait and do this in my life when I get this reparation check, because in
Well,
your
that's
lifetime,
different.
you never get it.
What you
Mm-hmm.
just said was completely different.
Yes.
You added your life and all that other stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, that's an excuse.
Mm.
Everybody been waiting on reparations. Why wouldn't you have to wait?
Mm.
But that don't mean we ain't doing nothing else in the meantime.
Exactly, and that's my point. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what do you say about somebody that's waiting for this reparation? Would you recommend that?
No, they foolish, man. They foolish.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause we ain't got it. And they working advantageously not to give it.
Yes.
That's why Cassandra spoke about gerrymandering. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they trying to redraw these maps, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why they pushing this legislation so that the Secretary of State in any city municipality, in any local municipality, does not have any rule or any control over the voters, over the voting administration.
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea is, if we take it from under his watchful eye, as voting is sacred as it is, if we take it from under his watchful eye and we give it to a private based person and or firm, then we could dictate what's counted and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's time that America as a whole, not just black, white, and candy stripe, catch notice and push back against the white supremacist ideology of control and conquer and control.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? If I
Yes.
can't conquer it, I'll control it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't control it, then I'm just gonna move to conquer it. At the end of the day, um, I fervently agree with what Brother Leonard said. Um, for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
he dead on.
Okay.
My question is, how free really is freedom?
Mm.
Because it seems like sometimes we have this ideology or this mindset that freedom does not come with a price.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest lie told since Jesus Christ was a white man.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom comes with a price. We, as a collective body, both black, white, candy stripe, need to know. I understand that there's a leader in all of us, this, that, and the third. But if we are going to call ourselves Christians and believe in the teachings of the Bible and believe in the teachings of Yeshua, the Son of God, then it seemed like we would understand that every single movement of people who were oppressed in the Bible and or mistreated and was brought out of that oppression was given a figurehead. They was given a leader. And I'm pretty sure that when those men and or women,
Uh-huh.
just don't get it twisted, there were some women in the Bible now that wasn't no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when they were given that charge, I'm pretty sure people talked about them. I mean, hell, Moses' own brother and his wife
Mm-hmm.
talked major trash about him and
Mm-hmm.
his wife. So I'm pretty sure that that's not nothing new. But at some point in working towards receiving our freedom, we have to also watch out for the pitfalls and the setbacks of just what freedom's going to cost. We got to be willing to pay that price if we really want it.
Exactly. Exactly. Cassandra, talk to me, sis. What's on your heart? Cassandra?
Hello?
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yep. Okay, I can knock it off on mute. Yeah. Uh, all throughout history, right? Especially our history, we've had to fight for, it seems like everything. We had to fight for everything. I mean, there was a fight for this to be released from slavery. There was a fight to work. There was a fight. Every time, I don't know, it's like a pattern in this country that they are determined to keep their foot on our neck. It's like a pattern. And they'll do anything and everything. They'll use any kind of trickery. And I agree with Leonard. You know, it would be a fight if they tried to take rights from Black people at this time. Like, I don't think it would ever be a point where they would actually try to put us where we slaves like back in the day. But guess what? You can put somebody in economic slavery. And baby, they can do it. We can talk about how much money, I don't care how much money Jay-Z got, anybody else. There are ways that they can destroy your wealth, your ability to gain wealth. And I feel like right now, the voting situation is setting us back. And unless we fight, I'm talking, when I say fight, I'm not even talking physical fight. And come on now, unless we get out there, and Leonard always says this, we have to put people in place that are fighting for our agendas. And that's a choice. But we can sit back and say, oh, they ain't going to never take our rights to vote away. They ain't gonna. Okay, keep on living and keep on being ignorant and see what happens.
Exactly. Exactly.
Amen.
Tucson, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, we ain't going nowhere else, is we? Lord have mercy. You know what the song that I've begun to dislike. We shall overcome. Stop it. Just stop it. Because some don't even want to. And so I don't know. I listen and I hear and I guess I'll just be a Negro on the run for the rest of my life because I ain't gonna. Just put me in the grave if I'm gonna be a slave to anybody. I know, I understand the mentality because they, in a sense, if they can't get you one way, they try it another way.
Exactly.
Some people say that people that work for a living are enslaved to their job or whatever the case may be. Well, okay, then there you go. I'm gonna go on one.
Exactly.
But at least I'm not. At least I'm not heading towards the prison system that will have me working for free. Because some people don't want to work, so they try other avenues. I ain't working for nobody. I ain't working for nobody. And then they steal and do this, and they decide they're going to be an entrepreneur in the drug field. And then they can hang on the side of the road. Okay, then, big baller shot caller. How that worked out for you? I'm just saying.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow.
So I say I do what I want to. And then when you say this, and I shut up. There's a mentality that people don't even know they're part of an entourage. That they wait on people for every beck and call. Oh, you need your face wash. You need me to put your robe on.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say a word?
Go ahead.
Can I help you? Can I help you, Pastor?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not Master, Pastor.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, I wish I would. I wish I would. And I have a great respect for spiritual leaders.
Mm-hmm.
But you wipe your own face, not me. I'm not
Exactly.
ready.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Come wipe my face. Who?
You
No,
gotta be
I
kidding
won't.
me.
I won't be doing that. Those are ain't gonna happen. Pete, talk to me, brother. What's on your
You
heart?
know, our dear brother Lynn gave us a real good articulation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I was trying to denote to. Where are you? You are as free as you think you are, but you're really only as free as you're willing to enforce.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of being free involves force and brute force.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's what it involves. Now, when we get into the structure, the obligations, the processes, and procedures, when you look up registering and being registered, it may mean more than what you think. It
Mm-hmm.
definitely comes with more obligations than many realize, and they're mostly detrimental. That's something that needs to be understood. When we talk about freedom, we have to first define freedom. I'm sure it would mean different things to different ones.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a societal structure and function to function civilized and to be able to actually function. But in that, where's the freedom?
Mm-hmm.
So in actuality, we're a lot freer than we may realize. And at the same time, there are factual hindrances to your freedom of movement, your freedom of existing, your freedom of owning, your freedom of financing, every level. And that's again where you're only as free as you're willing to enforce.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Morning, morning. It's me, Toy with the T. Hello,
Toy, you
hello.
want to say good morning? How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How you doing?
You doing good? Doing good. Toy, we're talking about right now. We're talking about, and we're going to actually go into our topic for the day. But we're talking about freedom, and I asked a question: do you think the black man and woman here in America would really know what absolute freedom looks like? And all elements of it, and all aspects of it. What do you say to that?
Um, I don't know. I think we have to take advantage of it. I mean, I don't know about nobody else. I'm free. I ain't no slave. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for nobody else. But I think it's a mindset for
Mm-hmm.
one. Um, but when we look at it from a physical level, freedom is something that's fought for. You know what I'm saying? If people pay a price for it. Because if you look around in a couple of other countries, they're not so free. But that's
Mm-hmm.
still something that is hindered by another human being, by their level in which they're willing to take freedom in order to be on top.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think that it's like walking, talking, and breathing. We take advantage of freedom. You understand what I'm saying? Because you
Mm-hmm.
wake up free every day. Somebody can put you in a jail cell. Does that mean that you're not free? I mean, you might not be physically free,
Mm-hmm.
but if your mind is in a certain place, you can deal with it. You could have not done anything wrong, but you have to have a free mindset. Because prison can be anywhere. It can be a home. It can be a school. It can be like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People walking around here free, still in prison, not even though they're not in jail behind bars. You know what I mean? So I think first it starts with a mindset, first and foremost. And second of all, it's like, hey, no matter what the situation is around me, I'm still free. Probably
Mm-hmm.
not free to move around, but just as a human being, you know. So I think it's something that we kind of take advantage, you know, don't use the full power of.
Hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Now we're about to jump into our topic for today, and the topic is a little different. It's a little different conversation we're going to have, and I'm asking the question: unemployed husband, an unemployed husband, and I want to know what is the effect on the family, on the wife, on the children, and a real man being a man, he wants to be the provider for his family. What is the absolute effect on him as a man, as an unemployed husband? Curtis, what do you say to that?
I was hoping you was gonna come to me first, brother, because I gotta go into this office.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny you say unemployed. Right now, I'm starting to shift, and I'm really pushing to the powers that be, the powers above my head, is to not even deal with the unemployed. I don't want to say not deal with them, but we've been addressing this unemployment thing for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's obvious to me that that is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I noticed that companies don't never want to deal with, or you never hear anybody, I don't care, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, I don't care what your political affiliation is,
Mm-hmm.
nobody deals with the working, the employed poor.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if you're the working poor, you might as well be unemployed.
Mm.
And why do I say that? Because your question was, how does that affect the man and so forth and so on in the house, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now, mind you, if you are a member of the working poor, 9 times out of 10, if you really evaluate it, you're probably spending at least 85 to 90% of your time on several different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you're working all of these jobs to make a livable wage. Now, how does that affect the family? If you the woman doing it, you ain't home. If you the male doing it, you ain't home. And it is scientifically proven that between the hours of 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. for a teenager and or young adult, that is the high times where that teenager or that young adult will get into some form of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me. I've been hearing these folks talk about, for example, with everything going on, oh, it's jobs out there. Oh, it's jobs out there. If you want to work, go. You can work anywhere. Well, hold on. If the job is not paying a livable wage and the person does not have adequate transportation, which means they have to rely on the bus system, they have to
Mm-hmm.
rely on mass transit,
Mm-hmm.
that basically means that they have to leave their houses at least an hour and a half to 2 hours
Yes.
prior to their work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that if my day starts at 9 o'clock and I'm the working poor, I'm leaving my house at about 6 to board a bus at 7 that gets me to work at about 8:30. I leave from that job and I go to another job. I leave from that job and possibly come home. But 9 times out of 10, I come home and I might got me a little hustle on the side. I ain't even saying it's a criminal hustle. But I might got me a little hustle on the side. So where's the time with the family?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the time with the family? And I live in a city and state that I swear, all due respect, should be brought up on charges for child labor laws. Because this city has survived its existence in hiring, as far as the working poor is concerned, hiring teenagers. And they have created a vacuum where the teenagers are forced to think either I get a job to help mama and daddy, or to help mama or to help daddy take care of this family, or I go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So now you saying school or eat,
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
school or rent,
Mm-hmm.
school or homeless, school or you understand what I'm saying? So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people in this city, actually, if you evaluate it, if you sat down and talked to a large populace of the city, you'll find out that a large percentage of our black and brown community are what we would call non-traditional students.
Good.
What does that mean? That
Mm-hmm.
means that they either dropped out of school, right?
Uh-huh.
Got into the, you hear kids say all the time, I can't wait till I'm 15 and 9 months. It's the reason why they're saying that, because at 15 and 9 months, you can go down to the Department of Labor and you can apply, you can get your work permit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they either here's the basis. They either dropped out of school because they had a job and they was trying to take care of their siblings, help mama take care of the house, help dad take care of the house, or help mama and dad take care of the house and the siblings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is they hit about 20 or so, 21, and that's when it dawns on, you know what? I really should have stayed in school, because all this money I've been making has been peanuts. So
Okay.
then they go back to school, return back to school,
Wrap it up
and
for me,
I
Tate.
applaud that.
Mm-hmm.
Return back to school,
Mm-hmm.
get their high school diploma and or 2-year degree. But the bottom line is, for a total of anywhere from 4 to about 8 years, you have been making money off of slave wages and paying people below you've been paying people a poverty level wage.
Mm-hmm.
I'll end with this, and I won't say no more, Raheem, because I got to go to work. If y'all get a chance, look on YouTube, and we all know the lady, we all know the congresswoman, but we probably don't know her by name. She's kind of heavy set. She's a white woman. She used to be a school teacher. I think she taught math. It was either math or science. And she's asking the Fortune 500 companies, specifically the diamond dude over at Wells Fargo, what should the minimum wage actually be? Now, this was 10 years ago when she did this. I want to say 10 years ago. And he said, well, I got to get with my team. So the team leaned up and gave him a document. He looked down at the document. You know what he said the minimum wage should actually be in America?
Mm-hmm.
$21 an hour.
Wow. Wow.
So I'll
Mm-hmm.
leave it at that. I love y'all, man. Y'all have a good day. I really wish, I hope that you guys can get together and come up here and see these amazing, amazing actors and dancers and singers in this show. But if you can't, don't worry about it. If I'm there, I take every single one of y'all on the stage with me.
Praise
I
God.
love y'all. Talk to
Love you
y'all
as well,
later.
brother. Love you as well. Toya with a T. Unemployed husband. Unemployed husband. What effect does that have on the family, the wife, the relationship, and the husband who is a good man and want to be that provider for the family, but can't seem to get ahead or get the job that he wants, or the job at all. Unemployed husband. What is your results of that?
Nope, 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 nope. So, the thing we got to remember, especially my folk, is that we come from a place to where we wasn't even human. Uh, they didn't even count us as human. And anything they could possibly keep from us, they did. And we made it through that. So in 2021, it's unacceptable for you to be a man around me, to my unemployed. Make a job.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. No, it's not going to happen. It's unacceptable. Not around me. I done walked. I done went in rain. I done got on transit. I done all of that and got a job. And most men are not willing to even do those things to get a job. So I need a clearer understanding on why is you unemployed, sir.
Mm.
In 2021, we talking about today. No, you're not gonna be no grown man talking about, oh yeah, I'm a good man. I want to. No, you playing mind games is what you're playing. Make a job then. Let me tell you something. I'm so old school. I remember when he used to tell us, if you can't find a good job, go offer to work with somebody for 3 days and let them see your work ethic and get hired. I'm old school.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there and provide a service for them first. And then eventually people are gonna know who you are and go from there. People gotta get it out the mud all the time. Heck, we in Georgia, we used to eat mud. So ain't no man, ain't no human for to come over to me and say, and today, 2021, I'm underemployed and there's nothing I can do about it. There's things you have to do about it. Not for nothing. We have to make sure we take the proper precautions. Again, I put myself in a lot of situations in my life. And if you are a man and you walking around here slinging your Peter whacker everywhere and got 12 children, and now you sitting up here talking about, oh, I'm unemployed, oh, I ain't got no money. Yet again, you know, went out there and made all these babies that you got to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you can't get ahead. And if you're unemployed for that reason, that's the problem. So, you know, when it comes to unemployment and human beings in 2021, there's no excuse. It's unacceptable. And I'm not going to let you get away with it. Not around me. I
Okay.
believe that, again, for us, from
Mm-hmm.
where we come from, we came from nothing. It's unacceptable. I don't want to hear it. And I'm going to shut it down. Get up, get a job, make a job, work a job, act like a job, do something. But being one without one period and you got responsibilities, nope, unacceptable in 2021.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to hear from you. We love to hear your input on it. We're talking about unemployed husbands. What effect that have on the family, what effect that have on the children, the wife, and the man that really want to be that provider. What effect does it have on him as a man? Leonard, what do you say to that?
Well, when you say, I'm glad, you said a couple things. Husband, that's one that's different. Husband.
Yes.
Husband. I'm unemployed. You unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
So unemployed ain't really that big of a deal
Mm-hmm.
because there are going to be points in your life where you may be unemployed. Certain people get laid off. They unemployed. Don't make them no less of a person.
Mm-hmm.
You feel a thing, you just go get another job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all that extra you add to it, that's your business. Because see, one, I'm not that particular about someone's personal sob story, really, because that's yours. That belongs to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for who you want to tell it to. But one thing I don't do is I don't sit around and try to dictate how other people should be or how they should live their lives, what jobs they should have or whatever. Income determines outcome.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something out of it, you got to put something in it. I used to have people say, well, I don't want this job. Well, you don't have any job right now.
Mm-hmm.
There are people turning down jobs. You ever been offered a job that you turned down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Now, if you allow being unemployed to affect you in a way where you're depressed and you're causing problems in the home and all these things and you blowing up at everybody and blah, blah, you can take all that energy and focus it to something more positive,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
because there's no reason to sit, because think about it. Unemployment is just a situation. It could change with a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Like we used to tell people, if you ain't got a job, you ought to be spending just as much time looking for one as if you did have a job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
hear it, man. I'm sorry. I don't care about your story. All I know is rent need to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's an issue or what have you, and I can't be sitting up here, fretting because you didn't take advantage of parent Planned Parenthood.
Mm.
I ain't got no time to be worried about you. You shouldn't have had all them kids if you couldn't feed them. You shouldn't have said I do to somebody who don't. It just don't make sense. And then you want to complain to somebody else as if I'm supposed to look at you and feel sorry for you. I don't. Because you had just as much right to choose your outcome as I did, as I do. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
constantly trying to do things to improve myself. So if you sitting over here on your behind doing nothing, don't care about nothing, and you a slave, guess what? We might gonna talk 5 minutes. That's about how long our conversation gonna last.
Mm-hmm.
So all that whole notion when people come on, I can't do when people used to talk about well, ain't no jobs out here. I moved to Georgia, and them same people that wouldn't talk about no jobs, I wasn't here 2 days and had three.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Three. All I came here was with a duffel bag on my back.
Mm-hmm.
So don't talk to me about what is not available unless you have looked everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And that's like that's the situation. I told the story before when I moved to South Carolina. When I moved to South Carolina, I used to go out there and shoot ball with the guys on the basketball court when I first got there. And I asked them one day after going out there for about 2 or 3 days, man. Man, this shooting the ball is good, man. But I need to make me some money. What did
Got
y'all?
to.
What the jobs around here? It was about 10 or 12 of them out there, man. People, sitting around watching people play basketball too. And they all looking laughing at me, man. They're jobs. Ain't no jobs around here, man. You talking about a job. Man, listen. Next morning, I said, okay. I got up, it was hot, summertime. Man, I walked up and down the road, man, and all the business trying to find me a job. And by the time I came home, man, I had a job and I walked past that same basketball court. They said, "Man, we missed you today, man. You gonna be here tomorrow?" I said, "Nah, I'm going to work tomorrow." They couldn't hold on to that. What you mean going to work? Man, I got a job, man. I'm going to work, man. I can't be out here with y'all, man. We all gonna be broke. We all gonna be broke.
And that's so true because as a black man, even when I was a young black man, I knew exactly what to do and what not to do
Yeah, yeah.
because I had examples.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All them junkies and everything, that's because they started doing drugs.
Yeah.
That's how you wind up a junkie. If you don't do
Mm-hmm.
drugs, you don't have to worry about being a junkie.
That's right.
A plus B equals C.
All day long. All day long.
And so we have to get past this notion that job gonna knock on the door or what have you. Some people like I love what Toya say. If you can't get a job, create a job.
Mm-hmm.
There is no excuse. It's like I used to tell my son, always do your best.
Yes, sir.
No one
Yes, sir.
should expect any more, nor should they accept any less than the
Mm-hmm.
best that you can do. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot sit around here and talk about what ain't going on if you don't know. I hear people all the time talking about, this ain't happening. No, because the majority of my friends, blah, 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 blah. The majority of the people I've come into contact with or the people I meet, surround myself with, are very positive people working towards a goal in life. They have passions and concerns about life. They ain't sitting around talking about woe is the Negro.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what do you say to that? Unemployed husband.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I agree with everyone as far as them needing to get get to work. They need to
Mm-hmm.
get to work
Mm-hmm.
if they can. If there are extenuating circumstances, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I mean, I don't know. You would have to know your husband to
Mm-hmm.
know whether he's trying or he whatever. I don't know the person's husband.
Mm-hmm.
And every man is different. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if my husband is going out there and doing the best he can to try to find a job, and you know what? This sounds really simple. So I think we made this sound a little bit too simplistic. If your husband was in a corporate job, right, making six figures, and I know this ain't gonna sit well with some people, and he loses that job, he gets laid off, and he's looking for work in his field or at least trying to make, and you want him to go, and some people may want this, you want him to go and work at McDonald's,
Mm-hmm.
wherever for $7, $8, whatever they paying an hour. I don't know how that would affect him,
Mm-hmm.
but I would be thinking, like that. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, you got to feed the family, you got to all that. I love all of that. I'm just saying, I don't know how that would affect a man
Mm-hmm.
to go from six figures to making $7 an hour. I don't know. So, I'm gonna leave that right there.
And see, I was thinking along those same lines, Cassandra, because a lot of times, if you talk about a man with a certain amount of pride about himself, sometimes people say, "Well, swallow that pride. You still got to preach." I understand that, but
Yeah,
if he
yeah, I
if
understand that.
yeah, if he's like used to making six figures, and then all of a sudden now the only job that he can get is at McDonald's flipping a burger or something like that, man. Now you got to deal with the pride element of this whole situation. This man is, used to being a good provider. Anything that he wanted, he able to get it for the family because he's in that area. He's in that walk in his life. Now to go to making $7 an hour at McDonald's, and then people coming in and seeing you working at McDonald's, bro, what happened to you? Man, what happened to you? And so you got to understand there's a pride element that goes into it too, but at the same time there is.
Raheem, really
Yes.
quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to sound like I don't want it to be like a pride issue. I
Mm-hmm.
want it to be like a mental health issue
Mm-hmm.
almost.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of effect would that have on him mentally to go to working in McDonald's? And I mean, a brother like Leonard and some of the others, y'all might just, it's not a problem going from corporate to McDonald's because all you're thinking about is I need to bring money into the house.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather try to help my husband start a business, like find something creative or whatever he wants to do, and we work towards him starting a business than for him to go to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That's just my thought.
Yeah,
But
and it could be
okay,
it could be it could
I
be very
digress.
it could be very destructive to him too, though. It could really be very destructive to him to have the mentally, like you said, to do something like that. Tucson, what do you say? What's on your heart, brother?
I'm sorry. Um, I'm gonna tell the mailman I got pride. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because see now, if you had a six-figure job, then you got a savings. It's called a savings
Mm-hmm.
or retirement or 401 or something
Mm-hmm.
that you've probably put aside for hard times. Something. You better
Mm-hmm.
have a plan because too many miles. If somebody walks in the office right now and tells me, well, first they got to knock. Okay, who they are,
Mm-hmm.
but they say, well, we don't no longer need you. I promise you, I should have something somewhere to get me over
Mm-hmm.
till the next, till I do something else.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going. I say this. I say this in my mind as I sit where I am. I'm not going to work for $20 an hour. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doing that. I'm not working for $10. I say that from where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I say that. No, I ain't going back there. I say that.
Mm-hmm.
But when the mailman start coming, I promise you, I'm going to ask somebody, can I mow your yard
Yeah. Yeah.
or something?
Mm-hmm.
Can I paint your house?
Mm-hmm.
Can I change the motor in your car?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go back to what I do know.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things that I can do till I get back where I need to be because I know how to start over. I promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the when you say husband or man, the thing that comes to my mind is provider.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna sit on the couch drinking beer, waiting for my belly to grow while my companion wife or whatever go works two, three jobs and I come back and I burp in her face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Breath all stink.
No, I'm just saying. So, and then some people they get on hard times. Sometimes you get on hard times.
Yeah.
I see people right now. that are faced with 10, 20 years on the job, and because of this vaccine, they're making it up in their minds that no.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about to have a bunch of unemployed husbands
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wives.
Exactly.
Get
Exactly.
ready. It's coming.
It's right around that corner, knocking on the door, knocking on the door.
Before
Rico.
the year's out, I promise you.
Exactly. Exactly. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I can't complain. Grand rising to everybody.
Hey, we're talking about unemployed husbands. We're talking about unemployed husbands, man, and the effect that it can have on the wife, on the family, on the children, and on the man that want to be a provider. What do you say to that?
All that, I mean, I've been listening for a while in and out, and pretty much everybody's speaking on truth. But then, I think this all comes down to perspectives and narratives.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, everybody got a different definition of employed. Employed to me, employment is anything that you can do to bring in income.
Mm-hmm.
But some people might think that employment just means getting a job and working for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you ain't out here with a job and somebody paying you or you're not working for them, you're unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
But what about when you're self-employed? What about when you're making big money off of investing in stocks and you don't invest it so much or you've invented patents? I seen a guy that said he invented a patent that had to do with credit cards and he makes 2 cents, 2 cents off of everybody that uses a credit card
Mm.
everywhere.
Wow.
He's filthy. He's wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't working, but his job is collecting that money out of that patent. But see, in general society, especially in the black community, the first thing you're going to start thinking of, because of the perspectives, is I need to get employed. I need a job. I need to go to
Mm-hmm.
work for somebody. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to forego that sacrifice that you need to go to college to be able to have an opportunity to probably get a better skill or trade to get better pay. Because somebody done told you, you need to hurry up and get out here and find a way to make some money. You need to get you some employment. So they don't realize that they may have something in them that there's a demand for.
Mm-hmm.
There's like to me, any person that has some type of service that they could provide and then people request it or demand it, you are employed. Make that
Mm-hmm.
money.
Mm-hmm.
Put a price on it and stop depending on everybody else. I wish I would have had that mindset sooner, but I thought about Uber and Shift before Uber and Shift and Lyft came out
Mm-hmm.
because I knew there was a demand for older people that didn't drive anymore. You see people driving, you're like, man, they're so old, they need to take their license. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, you know what? These people need people to drive them to the doctors. They need to go get groceries for them. I actually was one of the people that was doing that grocery store run for older people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's about being a visionary, having that mindset of being employed. We got to understand that if you just looking at being employed is going to put in an application and working for somebody, that's just pretty much indentured servitude
Mm-hmm.
evolved.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it pretty much boils down to. But at the same time, you don't have to go sell your body to somebody else and use your skills and have them to pay you when you can actually use your own skills for yourself. So
Exactly.
that word unemployed husband, number one, that doesn't even go right with me. You know what I'm saying? To have a husband that's unemployed, or a husband that's
Mm-hmm.
not making any money. But to me, like I said, I think some people would take that unemployed thing and automatically think you broke. But what if you're making money off of stock investments?
Exactly. And Cassandra.
What if you're a counselor,
Mm-hmm.
consultant?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't a whole lot of work or job involved in that, but at the same time, you are charging people for your services.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be your job.
And Rico,
But
Cassandra
and
said
then
something. Cassandra
go
said
ahead.
something. Cassandra said something earlier, and she was saying like if a gentleman was used to making 6 figures, it's gonna be very mentally the mental strain on him to have to go down and get a job at McDonald's making $7 an hour. That could be mentally that could be taxing on him.
Definitely. Definitely, because not only is he making less money, which that's gonna be the biggest issue for most people. They're gonna think the money issue is the biggest problem, but then he's gonna be around a whole different standard of people with a whole different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How
Mm-hmm.
can you go from being a $200,000 or $300,000 man dealing with people that's happy with 12 or 13 or even $20,000,
Mm-hmm.
bragging, girl, I
Yeah.
got a bonus. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I got an extra $100 on my check, and they thinking to themselves, man, an extra $100 this week. Man, I used to get an extra 10,000 a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all
Mm-hmm.
just don't know, and it could kill you on the inside to be around people that you see that don't even realize that that is another standard of life that exists. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a person going down like that, man, they wouldn't be able to survive because they wouldn't be able to relate to these people that don't have the same vision that they had, and
Mm-hmm.
then they have the same lifestyle, the
Exactly.
same standard.
Absolutely.
But and then there's one more thing before I leave, because there is a big narrative out there about all these jobs, and there are a lot of jobs out there. Trust me, man. I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
people hiring every day, and they're giving raises every day. And the other side of this, don't get too happy with these raises, because every time they raise your pay, they raise the prices. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
equal back out. Somehow we got to stop consuming so much, and indulging in some of these things that they feel like we're gonna adapt to anyway. Because that's what normally we do. We complain about the prices, but we adapt. But the narrative with these jobs are that they are still turning away a lot of people. They
Mm-hmm.
still feel like they got the upper hand. They still feel like, well, you know what? We got another crew of young people coming out of high school, and they're gonna be the next people that we could hire, so we could still discriminate, not realizing these younger people are making their own money before they even graduate high school. They selling shades, they
Mm-hmm.
selling clothes, they selling cups, they selling T-shirts. They
All right.
doing this young generation. They
Yeah.
getting it.
Yeah. Got that fire. Got that fire. Toy, you want to talk to me, sis?
No, that's facts on that. That they are. They're getting it. And the thing I love, because I work a lot with a lot of them at the indie artists. What I love about them is they're not letting nobody tell them that it can't be done. They know it, they believe it in their heart, and they try it anyway. Now, some of their methods are warped, man, because unfortunately, some of them, they're so focused on, I guess, who they want to be, they're skipping traditional things like making some kind of income to get them where they want to be. Like some of them just not doing nothing. But no, the concept of where they want to go, like they got it. The ability to be able to try the hard, absolutely. Um, and everybody's right about what unemployment is, right? But at the end of the day, when we go work for somebody else, we're only working on their dreams. We
Mm-hmm.
keep forgetting that we're the product. And it is up to us to create our manufacturer, whatever it is we stand for, whatever our brand is, right? And if we decide to take our brand over to McDonald's and work for somebody else's brand, you're doing the same amount of work, putting out the same amount of estimate effort, dealing with the same stress and issues for somebody else's dream. So it is about perception. Um, but again, back to the question on how does that make a man feel? How does it make a woman feel? I've never been married. I've
Mm-hmm.
always made good money. Never had any kids. So my $40,000, $50,000 went a long way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I wasn't working, I felt like I didn't have my womanhood too. So this is not just a man thing. Again, it's about a perspective because I'm not gonna say I'm used to being a major breadwinner, but I hold my weight down. 9 times out of 10, if the guy is gonna make good money, I'm gonna make good money, and together we're gonna be a power couple. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel a kind of way if I don't work either. If I can't give my husband, my boyfriend half on that rent, I feel some kind of way. I got an attitude. If I can't reach in my pocket and go to do what I want to do when I want to do it for anybody, and my drive has always been, if something happens to my family, if I need to go do something, if I need to go rescue somebody, if I need to help somebody, that's why I get up every day. And for a long time, it was work a job. That was the concept. That was the influence. That was the culture. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
white people ain't gonna let you do this. Oh, there's all these stumbling blocks to do this and the third, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
worked. But now with different places, Uber, that's just somebody else's dream. Like Rico said, I've been thought of a concept like Uber a long time ago. My call my friends ride. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't put the effort in because the culture is to get a job, not
Mm-hmm.
to create the job.
Yes,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? So definitely as a human being, as wanting to be a good person, period. It's not about man and woman. Being a good provider and being able to do what's best for you and your family and those around you. It could be detrimental not having a job, and you can feel like your humanhood should or could be
Mm-hmm.
taken away. And if you don't, if you walk around on this earth and we got responsibilities and things we got to take care of, and building legacies, that's my new definition for black. Building legacies and creating kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about color. You walk around here, you're not focused on building legacies, you're a problem.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Captain Leonard, talk to me, sir.
I like everything Toya said. Your problem. I love that part
Mm-hmm.
because we'll take our whole existence and all of this love for our ancestors and focus on the 5% of Negroes that ain't doing nothing and then make it our problem.
Mm.
Everybody ain't sitting around wondering where they reparations check at. Ain't nobody just sitting around doing that every day. You got to eat eventually. You got to have a place to stay. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we all have to do certain things to make ends meet. So, and instead of judging people by the jobs that they have and all of that, all you need to know, really be concerned about, is your own personal happiness, then the happiness of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what are you doing to contribute to other people's lives? You cannot, I'm just not with this notion of constantly returning to the same vomit over and over and over. It's disgusting to me. When you
Mm-hmm.
hear about job, it's a laborer's market right now, which means that those people who have labor to offer to the market have a lot more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to work all day, you probably can now, if that's what you want to do. Definitely, wages have increased,
Mm-hmm.
even at fast food restaurants.
Yes, sir.
See, it's a laborer's market,
Mm-hmm.
which means just that. Those people who have labor to offer to the market is there. You have investors. Sometimes it's an investor market. I think one of the things that Trump made a lot of his money on other people's failures.
Mm.
That type of thing. Right now, there are a lot of things that are failing, but if you look at those things that are failing, it's probably an opportunity somewhere in there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Inflation and all that's going to happen. You're like, what is the minimum wage? Minimum wage really should be tied to the consumer price index, is usually what minimum wage is tied to. I think we've gotten a little bit away from that as technology and all these other things have increased. Uh, the wages did not.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if we were to go back and relook at it, and they used to determine minimum, I don't work for $3.35 an hour.
That was my first job, brother.
That's state minimum wage in Michigan when I was out there.
Yeah, that was my first job.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that whole weekend was work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So work, you some people can dodge it, some people can't. Work is going to be what it is. If you
Mm-hmm.
want more, you got to put in more. You can't not educate yourself,
Yeah.
have a whole bunch of babies, and then
Mm.
go out here and think somebody owe you a $30 an hour job based on what you don't did. That's not how that works.
No.
That's not how that works at all.
Mm-mm.
If you want to make a whole bunch of babies, you're gonna have a a better paying job. You're gonna have to
Exactly.
have a larger house. You're gonna
Mm.
probably have to have more than one vehicle and all these
Mm-hmm.
other types of things.
And
So
all that costs money.
so single people, like I tell my son, don't rush.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got to have kids and you ain't got to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Go get happy first, and don't be able to use it as an excuse after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I got to do this because I got mouths to feed. But what about before you had the mouths to feed?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, what about that?
Yeah, that's a point. That's a
Like I
point.
said, there's different things. Like you can come to me for help with different things, but you can't come to me to pour out what it is you did not do in your life
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not interested.
That's good.
Now we can talk about what you want to do next,
Mm-hmm. What kind of plan you got?
but
Yeah.
don't sit around and complain to me
Mm-hmm.
like I owe you something or this world owes you something because you don't sit up there and ruin your life
Mm-hmm.
economically and economically being decisions that you've made financially and non-financial. Everybody want to talk about how rough it is with kids. Stop having them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a solution.
If you want more
There's
money, go to school,
yeah.
get a degree, get certified to do something that pays a lot of money, not
Mm-hmm.
beg somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
People talking about, well, we ain't got no jobs here. Then put a rucksack on your back and hit the highway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not finna sit around where ain't no job at. That's ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
I see your mama, cousin, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I ain't got to be looking in your face.
I I keep you posted as to where I'm at, what I'm doing, but I got to go and do
Right.
it.
You sat
I
around
got
there
to do
and been broke in the
it.
same place for 40 years. Move up the road. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
That's right.
I mean, I remember when guys was telling me wasn't no work and it wasn't nothing but a train ride.
Yeah.
People talking about, well, you ain't got, you know what? Everywhere I had to live, I had to make sure it was on the bus line
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
because I ain't had no car. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to sit around and move somewhere where I can't get transportation, then complain about ain't no job
Mm-hmm.
when I
Right.
know I ain't had no car in the first place.
Set yourself up for a drive-by. Set yourself up for a drive-by. Exactly.
I got to
Cassandra,
go stay on Marta. I got to stay where Marta at. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. Cassandra, talk to me. What's on your heart?
I mean, I agree with what everyone is saying. Of course, I said that if he cannot find a job, that then as a wife, because we said husband, as a wife, I would work to try to help him build a business or establish a business, and that's what a lot of people. And then I want to come from Leonard, what Leonard said. There is a percentage of people that they're never going to want to do anything,
Yes.
but don't count them in with the multi millions of black men and women that get out there and pound the pavement and
Mm-hmm.
they get to work. They want to work. So don't take that 2%, 3%, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
what
do
we
that.
do even to our own people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's
Thank
good.
you, Cassandra.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
for
good.
that because that's so true. And it's
Mm-hmm.
sad because I've watched it all my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched it all my life where we sit and pit each other against one another for the dumbest of reasons. Never thinking, say, you know what? It was thinking, if I would get a job, when you're used to working with people, you get a job and you're working in one place. And then the other
Mm-hmm.
people will say, you know what? They hiring over here too. So you see migrate and they paying more. So
Mm-hmm.
one, that's how we would keep it going with our friends. Oh, they hiring, they hiring. Guess what? Well, I ain't got no transportation. You know what? I come right by there. If you standing right here, you can ride to work with me
Yeah. There you go.
because
Yep.
I'm going where work at. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to take people where work at
Yeah. Exactly.
if that's what they
Exactly.
need. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't just not do anything and
Mm-hmm.
become a burden to other people. That's why I left my mama house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a difference, just like Miss Cassandra was saying. Some people ain't gonna never want nothing, but stop using them to tell our story.
Yeah. Come on.
Stop using this 5 to 10% of the African American population in America to determine what all of us are,
Mm-hmm.
because that's first of all, it's ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
And
Coming
it's
to you, Rico.
self-serving and it's self-serving and it's fed
Mm-hmm.
by a bunch of propaganda.
Exactly. Exactly. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Got to get off mute. Everything everybody's saying is true to a certain extent. And it will work.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got some cities that ain't got no bus route. There are some towns and communities that really don't have any jobs, and you might have to go a little bit too far away. That day just not for black people, white people too. You know, um, there are black people that just don't want to work. But then you have some that can't keep a job because they can't put up with the game,
Mm-hmm.
the tokenism. You know what I'm saying? Some jobs you go to, you have to kiss butt and put up with what the boss man says. I got sent home from New York because I had a white guy that used to like to feel like that he would take every opportunity he could to say nigga
Mm.
by repeating with one of the other guys what that was working wife. Yeah, she said, ain't no lazy nigga gonna be staying here and ain't got no job. I ain't taking care of no nigga. He imitating her. The rest of the black guys just sitting there slapping their knees, laughing, hoo, hoo, hoo. And I'm like, man, you know what? You trying to take the opportunity to just say the word nigga.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to the story too.
Mm-hmm.
The lady said that ain't no lazy nigga staying in her house and not making no money, not got no job. So that sort of pertains to this conversation. But then I just thought about how he did that. I do without. So then, recently I saw Mercedes was hiring. So I started telling people, I was like, man, Mercedes hiring, man, they pay pretty good money. They pay pretty good. But the thing is sometimes when you go to these jobs, man, you are under your livelihood is under their control.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Your matter of survival is under their control. If they decide to fire you for whatever reason, whether it's just or unjust, your family might suffer. You may lose everything. You might not be able to get another job paying that much. The reason why
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to lose that job. So no, we have to look at several different things. You have whistleblowers that can't get jobs. I had to leave Alabama and go to Florida to get work in 2005
Mm-hmm.
because I was blackballed. You sue certain companies and word will spread.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You'll start looking like a dangerous employee, somebody that might be a risk. And it's hard to believe that happens. So, some of these people that saying they can't get jobs, real are telling the truth too. Some are lazy, some don't want them, some can't. But the thing is I wonder when are we going to wake up out of this fog of not understanding that somewhere within us we have something of value that we can at least make $20 an hour off of.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
See, I made up my mind a long time ago. I wasn't depending on nobody else to determine my livelihood. You ain't fixing to fire me no more and have me begging for unemployment so I can pay my bills. I know I can make $20 an hour out my own mind, out my
Mm-hmm.
own hands somehow. I can make me at least $20 an hour.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's waking up and starting to realize the productiveness in you, the value within you, your self sufficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And when people start realizing that better, maybe they can sacrifice and still go to college and make their money from their own means instead of having to go to McDonald's or the
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes Benz or Honda and work 12-hour swing shifts where you ain't gonna be able to go to college. And
Exactly.
they got
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yep.
When you leave high school and you go to Honda and they get you on that swing shift and you start making that money and taking them trips and living your fabulous life and buying these nice cars, you ain't going to nobody college.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You ain't got time to. You're on a swing shift. You're on third shift 2 nights a week, day shift 2 nights a week. Want to try to do it online? Want to try to take care of your family? Want to try to go to school? You might need to do it after you get these 20 years in out here at this Hummer plant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. And see, and that's the web that a lot of people fall into, man. That's the web that people fall into all the time. Talk to me, Toya. Toya.
Oh, my bad. I didn't hear you hear me. Yeah, you definitely can't do both. You hear me
Mm-hmm.
talk about it all the time. I done went to sleep at 30 and woke up at 40 and forgot about the family part.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right, the prep, the I can't the game they have set up for us. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Rico just said, you are not gonna be able to do all that. You gotta do one or the other. And it makes me think about what the Bible says. You can't serve two masters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even sometimes because it was so hard for us, I even understand. Now, normally I don't date drug dealers, but I'm saying I understand why. Because, like you said, you can't get a job. They always coming up with something different. So even if I got to break the rules to make money and provide for my family, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be the best at it. I even get that concept. I get
Mm-hmm.
it. because that's
Mm-hmm.
just who we are deep down. Period. Point blank. That's just what we do. You know. But again, I'm back to the no employment. Whether you are employed for yourself or employed for someone else, you're not gonna be. I'm a traditional woman, and I don't think that in 2021, if the husband's salary can't cover the both of you all as a salary, I
Mm-hmm.
think you should have a little piece of job or something, or doing something to build yourself up to make more money. And the goal is to not be working for someone else, eventually get your own. But that's not everybody's dream,
Yeah.
you know. And I don't know what to call it, but I just believe that the man and the woman have a role, and the role is to try to maximize their potential at all costs within relative, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
realms.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't be breaking no guidelines. But even if you are, and I'm gonna use the woman right now. Let's say you're a basketball player's wife. So just because the spouse, or just use the man for entertainer. So I'm worth 300 billion. Does the other individual still need to be cool with not being employed
Mm-hmm.
in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion? And I still feel like no. It is your as a responsible individual human being. It is your responsibility to get up and provide for your own crack of your booty every single day at any means necessary. Period. Point blank. No matter what the situation. And again, whether it's a lot of money or a little money, whatever. If you got a mindset where you don't have to get up and do anything that produces an income, again, just my personal opinion, it's still a problem. You
Mm-hmm.
leash.
Exactly. Exactly. Captain Leonard, talk to me, brother. Hey, Captain, let me ask you this question: if the man, and he really wants to get out there, and he really want to go out there and do the things, but he's been trying to find that job, like I was talking about, trying to get out there and motivate. But what for whatever reason, see, like Rico say, he was blackballed in the place where he was at, and don't have the means to go nowhere else. How disheartening could that be on him, not being able to provide for his family as a man?
I mean, to each his own. However each man feels, that's how he feels. Now, one, this whole employment thing is not a big deal if you're still looking for a job. If you know you
Mm-hmm.
so you can be, and it's not everybody's dream. We should be careful when we say that.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who had an excellent plan and they were able to retire at 38.
Mm-hmm.
They joined the
Mm-hmm.
military.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you don't have to work 20 years
Mm-hmm.
and get full retirement.
Yep.
So that's how some people were thinking. It is in some people's best interest to work for other people,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
especially if they have a very valuable skill. Because it's much easier to go get a job and get paid six figures than it is going to work every day, all day at your store, hoping that you make some money.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to sell your skills to someone else. That is what you're doing. You're exchanging your skill for what they're willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a market. In a labor market, the skilled labor is paid more because of what? The skill.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, that was a separation within unions at one point, I believe, skilled and unskilled. Why should
Mm-hmm.
unskilled laborers be demanding as much pay as skilled laborers?
Can't do it.
So, so one, people like want to say, teachers don't get paid enough, but then they know how much they was going to get paid before they went to school for teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? What do you expect someone else to do for you? When you want things how you want them is when you should be working for yourself. I love contributing to someone else's great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I love helping people do things to get to where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
You can what's called a compensation package.
Yes, sir.
I remember the women used to say, "Well, women get paid less than men." Why? Why? Because when I went in, I asked for 90. They came down to 85. I take 87.
Mm-hmm.
But when you went in there and they asked you, you said, well, what is the going rate? You should have knew that before you walked in there,
Mm-hmm.
what you was worth. And then this is what I'll do it for. This is what I need in
Mm-hmm.
order to come work for you. I'm not doing nothing extra for nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Compensate me for what I'm worth. I went to a job interview, best interview I ever had, didn't even want the job because he was talking about how long I was going to have to work. And I asked him, what time you go home?
Mm-hmm.
Because why would I be here 10 hours and you only be here 4?
Mm-hmm.
Unless I wanted to be. And as like one, let me tell on myself for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Young ladies, don't take a day off if he ain't paying for it.
Mm. Come
You
on.
better say that.
Come on. Come on.
I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
if you would have went to work today, you would have made $150.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
But he wants you to do something else. Then he need to come up with that 150 every day.
Yeah. That you're gonna miss. Yep.
But
I'm just saying.
got my
Mm-hmm.
There's just a way to do things, and there's a wrong way to do them. Y'all need to stop sleeping with people who ain't got no money. That's one.
mm-hmm.
You need to be looking for husband material.
Look at we got to stop Leonard to talk. Leonard putting stuff out there. We got
I'm
to
just
stop Leonard.
saying, how other people come in with opposing views. Well, why should I have to be? Because you got that thing between your legs. That's why.
Mm.
And that thing want things that you should be willing to pay for.
That's right.
See, that now coming out, that pimping coming out. Let me stop him talking right now. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? That now coming out in them right now. That pimping coming out, and we ain't no pimping station, brother. We ain't no pimping station now. We don't do no pimping.
I ain't said nothing about
brother, man. He got to be
no pimping.
Exactly, exactly. He going down there. He done turn a left turn. Then he ain't put no signal on, and now he on Pimpin' Allen. He on Pimpin' Avenue.
Y'all, you know what? Y'all wrong for that.
Y'all just say it.
Exactly. Yeah, driving.
I like what he said, man. I mean, and that's really what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
When I made the comparison about Honda and Mercedes,
mm-hmm.
Somewhere people make decisions coming out of high school that they need to get the money and they need to get it now. Because we want to fit this narrative. You know what I'm saying? Number one, men, we want to make sure that as we get out of high school or whatever, we start going down that road to being a man and going down the road to being a man. In some people's mind, most people's mind, based on our community, the words is being programmed. You starting to build yourself up to be a worthy husband, husband material. Even when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you're trying to build yourself up, but you're still trying to build yourself up to a man that would be a worthy husband.
Mm-hmm.
So now that becomes I'm going to say the biggest motivation is the fact that you start looking like a man. That's why a lot of men at 18, 19, 20, 21 don't like to listen to men because they already think they're men. They got a job.
Mm-hmm.
See, if they go to school, they still being taught. That make you think of being a child.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to school too, you probably can't make that money. I dropped out of college to make money. I said, man, I need to get some more money, man. So, you could get caught up in that narrative. And the thing is that I shouldn't have had to drop out of school because my parents made enough money, but I had to make a choice because they wanted me to do both.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They wanted me to do both because we ain't going to take care of you, but we're going to pay for you to go to school. And we want you to make all these grades, do all this study, and buy your own books. And then at the same time, keep your job and your car and all that stuff. All this, you got to do all this.
Mm-hmm.
So, in our community, we ain't got those parents that already know how important it is to go get these certifications, to go get these degrees, to go get these skills, because that's where the pay comes in. Like Leonard said, an unskilled worker, anybody can do that. But when you got a skilled worker, you can negotiate. You can put your number out there. You can make some demands. You can say, well, you know what, man? I know you want a welder, but the type of welding that I do, man, you'll never meet anybody that can weld like me.
Yeah.
I can do it in my sleep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can do it in my sleep. And so what I'm telling you is that Yeah, you might want to pay 60,000 a year, 80,000 a year, but I need 100, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I come in this door, you're gonna get more production out of me than your company ever seen from somebody that can will. Number one, because I know stuff about this job that can help me do more than the average person has done.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna have to pay me. You got a leg to stand on. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. I made up my mind that I would never leave myself dependent or in a situation where somebody can fire me and then I'm up the creek.
Mm-hmm. Without a
I
paddle.
always I started looking at it and realizing then, okay, you going to some of these jobs and you doing things on these jobs that nobody did before, and everybody coming to you asking you how you did it. They appreciate it, but they ain't giving you no raise. But you could make this same effort doing your own thing. You
Mm-hmm.
can start calling your own price. Now it's hard for them to fire you because you the one gonna make a decision whether or not you want to work with them or not.
Yep.
But see, we have to wake up out that mindset. They call it being entrepreneurs. Sometimes people think being entrepreneurs mean that you just got to open up a storefront and sell a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When really and truly, all you really got to do is sell yourself.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Toussaint, welcome back, brother. What's on your heart?
I was told when I interviewed for a job that I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that interviewed me, I went back to him and I said, I told you what was going to happen. He said, well, here's what the problem was. You didn't sell yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And my response was to him, I said, I'm not for sale.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to talk with the VP. Um, and she at the time, she said, actually, I understand the thought that you're not for sale, but in a sense, you have to show them what you're capable of. You have to be convincing
Mm-hmm.
so that they know that you fit the position or what the requirements or what the need.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. So the thing came up again, but I didn't ask for it. What was said was, if I don't take it, don't give it to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
It's not open.
Yeah.
The same. So what I mean is that I agree with Rico. You even know whether you have a on the corporate or doing your own thing, even if you start your own business, whatever it is, uh, if people don't know that you're capable of doing it, they won't let you.
Yeah.
I don't go to a mechanic shop and his yard is full of cars.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot about the business. That
Mm-hmm.
means you're not gonna fix mine because you ain't fixed all of these cars you got here.
Exactly. Why theirs are not fixed? Why theirs not fixed yet?
You didn't start your business. You say mechanic shop,
Mm-hmm.
not junkyard.
Exactly.
Hold up, though. Let me ask something.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's so good that everybody want to go to him and they don't want to go to nobody else,
Yeah,
and he
that's
get
pretty good.
overloaded with work?
Well, see now, here's the thing about it. I say that sometimes we make our business suffer by trying to get all the work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to be able to help some others that may not be as good as you. So
Yeah.
pass some of that work along to somebody
That's
else.
right.
And if they need assistance, help them.
Mm-hmm.
Give them that advice. But don't make your business suffer by having junk in your yard. If it's just a starter or an alternator or maybe a switched engine, change the transmission. That's that's I know people think that's hard work, but that's not really hard. That's put one part out, take one part out, and put that part in like you found it.
Mm-hmm.
That's an in and out. But if you
Exactly.
got to rebuild the engine or rebuild something, then maybe you need to keep that for yourself because you know what you're doing.
Then.
Anybody can change a almost anybody can change a starter.
I was looking at
You see what
something.
I'm saying? Sometimes us as a people, we try to get it all, get it all, get it all, and then we
See it.
develop a bad reputation.
Right.
I'm just saying.
And it's easy to develop a bad reputation, but that's like with business. And like say for instance, if I knew that guy and I see you backed up and everything, and you fixing all these cars, I might just come along. Now I can't fix cars, but guess what? I bet you I can buy you a shop and maybe hire somebody else to help you. That's called growth. And I think a lot of people, this notion that you're gonna get to do the same thing for 30 years or what, however long you plan on working, and people supposed to leave you alone and let you do your 30. That whole notion of living should have died last generation, where you could go to a plant, and I know some folks that don't work at the plant 45 over 40 years, and it pays good money. And at that time, I remember when plants were hiring, a lot of people would talk about, yeah, you know what? I was going to college, but they was paying this money. So I left college and went to make that money. But then there are people like me who still had to work all day and go to school. There wasn't like these privileged people now, like these a lot of our kids. Well, I'm not going to work because I got to get my grades and blah 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 together. And so that's why I don't think I should get a job. But God, if you want a car, that costs. Then you got to pay gas and insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to do that, then you have to lose that need for a car because you can't take care of it. That works when you dealing with somebody else or when somebody else is concerned. But see, that don't work in the real life, in real world. I got to do everything. I got to go to work. I got to make it work. I got to find a schedule that fit. Oh, I can't. You mean this class ain't available, but I work such and such time and blah. That's all it takes to deter you, that's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
You better
Because
say
guess
that.
what I used to have to do? If I can't catch it in the fall, guess what? I got to catch it in the summer.
Yes, absolutely.
See, I don't get no summer break because I got to eat in the summer too, and the winter, and everything else. So I have to work
Mm-hmm.
all the time. I have to go to school all the time. Not add a sick wife to that. Not add a sick pregnant wife to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, them days where your sleep is on the train. That's when you sleep on the train.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you better
So
preach,
so
boy.
so people who are talking about, I don't think I could do this. I don't. Well, quit thinking about it. See, I ain't got time to think about it. I got to work it out. I got to do it because at the end of the day, I got responsibilities. My I ain't ever had a woman take care of me except my mama. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Right.
didn't want that to go on after 18.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But be laying up on somebody talking about you going to school and you can't work.
Mm,
I don't
mm.
have no feelings for you neither. That's
Exactly.
privilege. That's
Mm-hmm.
privilege. That's
Mm-hmm.
privilege.
And you
Mm-hmm.
and you flunking school.
Hey, come, boy, don't get me. Don't make me mad right now, Tucson. Come on now.
You,
Mm-hmm.
It
you,
ain't like you
you
doing
didn't go
all
on
that great
scholarship.
in the
You didn't go
first
on
place.
scholarship that mom and dad paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm,
While you jumping, while you doing everything else you want to do, it may not cost you, but it's costing
mm,
somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It
mhm.
costs me for you to be sitting up in here enjoying these lights and all this type of stuff, but you can't wash them dishes.
Mm.
You better preach, boy.
That lets
Mm.
me know a lot about your character.
Come on. Come on.
Mm.
See, those little things that you taught in the military
Uh-huh.
that may seem insignificant. Well, why we had to hurry up and get there so you be ready when it jump off. That's why you had to get there.
Okay.
That's why you
Mm-hmm.
up earlier than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Do more before 7 o'clock in the morning than most people do
Come
all
on
day.
now. We gonna do it like my son. He had this proposal for me because he does online school. He said, "Well, I finished my work and I did all this and I did that and the other." Because one thing about him, when he wants something, he gonna do what it takes to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows if you don't want me on your back, follow the guidelines.
Exactly.
So now
Exactly.
you don't want to wake up early. I did all my work, so you think I could wake up a little bit later? No, no. You get up early builds character.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Raheem,
Yes, sir.
and maybe somebody else can answer this question. Does entrepreneurs sleep 8 hours?
No.
Sometimes.
No. I answer that question for you, brother. No, sir. No, sir. I go ahead and answer that for you. You know, we ain't got
But
we ain't get
I
we ain't got to
gotta,
deal with that
I
question.
gotta
No,
get
sir.
my sleep.
Unless
Almost choke.
unless you get 2 cents off everybody that use a credit card.
Exactly.
Work smart, not hard.
Mm-hmm.
I know what
Right,
that means.
right.
Work smart.
Mm-hmm.
You should have a plan. I just want you to have a plan and show me that you're working on that plan. If you got little boys, like I have 2 boys, and God forbid that they become lazy, y'all might be paying somebody to dig up the yard. You understand what I'm saying? Looking for his body.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
one thing I don't have patience for is people who want to take, but don't want to give.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly. A leech.
I've done more things for free
Mm-hmm.
than anything.
Mm-hmm.
People will tell you in a heartbeat, well, what do you charge? I'll just do this because really it's not costing me anything.
Mm-hmm.
Guess
Right.
what? I have another great idea. That's why I can
Exactly.
afford to. That's why I can afford to give you this one.
Mm-hmm.
Half of my business is tied into helping other people become successful. The consulting part is does this for you and does that for you.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to understand that one, it's your choice
Mm-hmm.
of what you really want to do. Like say for instance, is you can raise doctors if you want to.
Yes,
If
you
you
can.
want to.
Exactly.
Engineers, your kids can be engineers. If
Mm-hmm.
you know wanted to, you get them to buy what it is you're selling them. Because one thing you have to have, I want to let my one son know. I hope you don't think that I should include you in my plans to go further if you don't plan on doing this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Or I
Exactly.
can tell you who's gonna be making the business decisions simply by your character.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do all your work at night so you ain't got to get up in the morning.
Mm.
Because you just want to lay in the bed.
Mm.
So you worked and did all your work to do what? Lay in the bed? Really? Why wouldn't you be doing something else? In the real
That's so.
world, people don't take naps all day.
Mm-hmm. That's your reward. Being able to lay in the bed all day. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why old people got up early so they could finish their chores and everything earlier,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so they could have more free time towards the end of the day.
I used to wake up. I used to remember doing the week on definitely on the weekends, man. I used to wake up, and my grandmother, she already up, man. The house smelling good because she done cooked,
Already.
cooked and cleaned and everything. Get on in that baby, clean yourself up so you can come on get you something to eat. Now come on get you some of this breakfast. She done cook biscuits and all kind of stuff, man. I
She
was
was
like,
on
man,
her job
I like, Mama, you been up, baby? Ain't no time for no sleeping. Ain't no time for no sleeping around here.
because mama got character. That's what
Exactly.
a grandmother was
Yeah.
doing. A
Yeah.
grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
just your mama.
And that's I call my grandma, I call her mama, but she used to always, man, look here, she'd be up, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, if I'm gonna tell, I gotta tell it all. She playing the Sam Cooke and Otis
There
Redding,
you
and
go.
it's playing loud now. And but on Sunday she playing the gospel music, but during the week, on Saturday she playing the Sunday. That's how I know all the old music, man, because she used to play it all the time. I used to like it too. Cassandra, what's on your heart? I used to like it.
Yeah, I was one of those kids. I started working at 13.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was younger than that because my mother had died and left 5 of us. My grandmother raised. So
Mm-hmm.
I literally missed my childhood be doing all of the adult things, working and going to school at the same time, and then taking care of my siblings. And honestly, I'm just gonna be honest. I did not want my children to work when they
Mm-hmm.
were in school. I told them no. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to concentrate on school because I know what it did to me to be working and going to school. It was like a torment. It was like a torture because
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to be a kid. So, I'm just, I'm on the other side of the spectrum because of my own personal reasons. But I'm all for people, if that's what you want your children to do,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. All I was thinking about is what I endured as a kid, and I did not. I was working hard so that my kids did not have to do what I did.
Mm-hmm. Praise God. Praise God. I'm going to read something here, and it came across. Y'all probably seen it on Facebook, man. I'm gonna read it. It's funny. It's comical, but I'm gonna read it. It's kind of long, so y'all give me a second. Um, a woman awakes during the night to find her husband not in bed. She puts on her robe and goes downstairs to look for him. She finds him sitting at the kitchen table with a hot cup of coffee in front of him. He appears to be in deep thought, just staring at the wall. She watches as he wipes the tears from his eyes and takes a sip of his coffee. What's the matter, dear? She whispers as she steps into the room. Why are you down here at this time of night? The husband looks up from his coffee. It's the 20th anniversary of the day we met. She can't believe he has remembered and starts to tear up. The husband continues, do you remember 20 years ago when we started dating? I was 18 and you were only 16, he says solemnly. She she again, once again, excuse me, the wife is touched to tears. Yes, I do, she replies. The husband pauses. The words were not coming easily. Do you remember when your father called us in the back seat of my car? Yes, I remember, said the wife, lowering herself into the chair beside him. The husband continues, do you remember when he shoved the shotgun in my face and said, either you marry my daughter or I will send you to prison for 20 years? I remember that. I remember that too, she replied softly. He wiped away, oh, the doggone screen. Okay. He wiped away another tear from his cheek and said, I will be a free man today.
I should have went to prison. Oh my God. I should have went to prison.
Tucson love that. Tucson love
Yeah.
that one. He love that one right there.
Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
As listening to what everybody had to say, man, I
Mm,
think I realize now that for a lot of mindsets to change and people to have more clarity and about understanding progress and real growth, we probably need to have just as many school counselors as we do school teachers.
mm-hmm,
And I was glad Leonard said that about consulting because I was going to bring that up too about being a consultant, or counseling people.
mm-hmm,
Um, about being expendable or just being a number if you are an unskilled worker, how expendable you are as an unskilled worker. Because like
mm-hmm,
I said, as I lived and grew and saw people go from job to job to job, I was like, man,
mm-hmm,
they caught in a cycle. Sooner or later they're gonna get too old because there's people coming out every year, coming out of high school, falling into the same trap, not trying to better themselves, but just looking for that check, that
mm-hmm,
paycheck, the first one they can get their hands on.
mm-hmm,
And it really is something that we need to realize or probably promote more
mm-hmm.
self sufficiency.
Yes, sir.
Understanding how this system really, really works, how you can get caught up in it. helping people achieve their dreams, giving children that don't have parents that can't lead them down certain directions or guide them in the right way, helping them find access before they get out of school.
Mm-hmm.
And then society can probably change and go in a better direction. As far as this unemployment thing, especially, of being successful. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just seeing that, if you really don't know better, you can't do it better.
Exactly.
I think about when people have a lack of access. Like I got an aunt. She's still living. She pretty much looked up and became successful. And even though she graduated second in her class, she should have been first, but she went to one of them schools that still to this day haven't had a black valedictorian.
Mm.
And she should have been first, but the counselor never told her how far she could make it in life. So she was going to go into child care development and go be a kindergarten teacher. But just so happened when she got to the University of Alabama on that scholarship, the counselors there started encouraging her to take classes that was more or less around the area of the classes that she was, had already taken in high school. And it put her in a situation where she been very successful since she graduated college. I mean, like very successful.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talked about it because I always thought she had this motivation and this dream to be a six-figure woman. Well, she's worth more than that, but that's what she makes a year. And she told me about the child care development thing and how the counselors at the high school did not let her know what her potential was. And she didn't have any idea of what she could be because it wasn't in her immediate environment.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of becoming, a computer scientist was never in her thought process. It was just something new to experience. And she became successful, but it was all because she decided to make that sacrifice and go ahead and take that scholarship to college instead of staying home and helping my grandmother. See, she wanted to stay home, like I said, and become a kindergarten teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that was real big that she looked up and had that effort. And she made the effort on her own. She had the dream and the motivation to do it, but the counselors left her hanging.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though they saw how intelligent she was. And so being a black person, sometimes it is a little bit of a extra effort or I'm going to say an extra push that you need because we don't have this immediate access to exposure to things that could make us be better or be more successful and not get caught up in this rat race that exists.
Exactly. Cassandra?
Yeah, I'm glad you came back to me because Rico, when you said that, it made me think about when I was in high school. My homeroom teacher, I had a son while I was a child while I was in high school. I ended up graduating in the top 25 of my class. I think it was like 23, but this teacher told me after I had my son, she said, "You'll never amount to anything. You'll never be anything." Settle with that. And I remember that not only did it hurt me, and she was a Hispanic woman, not only did it hurt me, but it made me mad enough that I was like, oh, really? I'm going to show you. And I ended up skipping from 10th to 12th grade. I was in all of the honor groups and everything, and I was a gangster. I was in the game. But I wanted to prove to this lady, not myself, I wanted to prove to this lady that I could do it, even though I had my son. And people school teachers and others, even family members, can get you off of where you could be because of the words that they speak to you. That's why I always was very careful when I spoke over my children's lives.
Exactly. Speak positivity. Tucson.
Yes, sir.
I could have been a free man today. What's on your heart, brother?
I'm sorry. Well, sometimes you got to take your losses.
The man in there crying.
I think I could see the man in tears right now.
Crying in a cup of coffee.
It all over.
Tears
He
just
was all
falling
over me. He said,
into some. Hit,
look, not only that, but I hear he said I should have took the bullet. Kill me now. Kill me now.
Leonard, Leonard, we got look. He done took a left turn, brother. We got let me step away from Tucson because he about to he about to go somewhere, brother. He about to
Kill
go
me.
somewhere.
Kill me now. Kill me now.
Look. If I knew back then what I knew now, he man, just go ahead on and shoot me, man. I ain't no need. Ain't even no need, man. Go ahead on.
Turn myself into the law.
Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Now I think everybody had, like you said, it builds character. I remember that was one of the things in the military. You be hurting like a dog, and you be
Mm-hmm.
doing something, and blah blah blah. Drill sergeant, this day, this it's just so hot. Builds
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
character. I
Oh
don't care
yeah.
what excuse you had.
Mm-hmm.
It built
It's
character.
good.
You
Exactly.
can say what you want. We working on your character.
Yeah.
So you call it what you want,
Yeah.
but we building your character.
Mm-hmm.
And
Can you
I
drive
think
a truck?
everybody need a couple spoonfuls of that every morning. Is building their own character.
Mm-hmm.
What can people expect from you?
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing to me that people will do less than their best, but expect more in return.
Mm-hmm.
My
Exactly.
math mind won't really let me grasp that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How does that, like, sometimes, like, my man Tucson say, let's see how that work out for you.
Exactly.
You come to
Exactly.
me with these great ideas. Well, that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
The rent is due on the first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I
That
would
ain't gonna change.
guarantee you, if what you got ain't working by the first,
Mm-hmm.
you come up with a way to pay your rent if you're gonna stay
Exactly.
here.
We can make other arrangements, but
Whatever your heart's desire may be,
yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
rent is due on the first.
On the first. Exactly. Exactly. But let's get on out of here, man. This has been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us, man. Before we get out of here, Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
Well, at 3 o'clock, you got a repeat of the show. So if you missed the live broadcast, you can tune in on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Good deal. Cassandra, let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, pray us out, sis. Oh, we lost Cassandra. We just lost Cassandra. Just lost. I should go to Rico. Let Rico pray us out, but I'm gonna go to Leonard. Captain Leonard, pray us out, sir.
Cheers. How about that?
Dang,
Stop. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for another opportunity to breathe life into some dead soul. We hope that somebody listening today heard enough to change their entire lives for the better. Dear Heavenly Father, these are the blessings we ask. In Jesus' name, amen.
Man, see that's much better. That's much better. I gotta remember what the name of this. I keep forgetting the name of the app that I'm using over here, man. But they give us so much support, man. I'm gonna call a few names out.
What you
Uh,
need to call them names.
yeah, Quan Lamb. I hope I said that name.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Tell you what, post
Elmer.
them. Just
Elmer,
post them.
exactly. Elmer. We got Al. We got David. We have Michael. We have Jacob. We have good the good bad guy, the good bad guy. Okay, hey, what a name! That's a good one. And I missed so many of y'all this morning. I didn't get a chance to, because in the midst of the conversation, I couldn't call all your names, but I definitely appreciate each and every one of you all joining us and continuing to join us. A lot of you all has actually followed us as fans, so you will never miss any other broadcast that we do. Definitely appreciate that. Love having you with us, man. If you ever want to be a part of the conversation, you definitely could do that as well. Give us a call, 508-924-3521. We're here every day. Well, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're not here on Wednesday. We usually do a repeat on Wednesdays, but any of those days that we're live, we'd love to have you as a part of it. Love to have you as well. Love to have you and love to have you as well. Each and every one of the platforms that we're using, we would love to have each and every one of you to be a part of the conversation. It is now 10:15. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light of you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Love you. Take care. And please be blessed.